All right,
Trey,
we're live.
We are live.
Trey, where are you based out of?
I'm in Norman.
Okay,
Okay.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah,
love
for those that are just tuning in, this is the raw recording, and how exciting, guys! No Phil tonight.
No Phil.
You
The
guys,
cat's away.
this is my first
Uh-oh.
no Phil show.
All
I
the
don't know how
kids
this
are
is
by
gonna go.
themselves tonight.
Yeah, like I was thinking to myself, boy, oh boy, I have like it. I know Phil almost never wears a hat on these things, but if he did, I was thinking, boy, I have a big head to fill, big hat to fill. But
This is
yeah,
fun.
no, I'm super excited that he's not here because we can say all those things we've always wanted to say about him.
That's right.
When
Yes, and I want to know what game you have, Greg. Did you come up with the
Ooh.
game, or did Phil come up with the game?
that's a well guarded secret,
Closely
right,
held
MJ?
secret.
Yeah.
Let's see what it is first, and then we could guess. Because I can guess. I'll bet you.
This
You
is
can
true,
guess.
Jamie.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. If it's something weird and dirty, it's totally Phil.
Right.
Trey, do you know how? I don't know if Trey knows how. Have you listened to any of the episodes? It's okay if you haven't.
I've listened to a couple. Yes. I have.
Yeah, so you know the games that Phil comes up with that can
Yes.
be, quite
Yes.
interesting. You just never know. You honestly never know. And he
But-
does like the research on you that you could be like have a fascination with like some small random thing, and he would pull that out of anything else in your resume and create a game around it.
Yeah, I
So,
noticed that. I noticed
yeah.
that.
You have to be careful.
Okay.
Did
I
you
mean-
hear burger or position? That was
Yeah.
that was a
Or
class.
supermodel or hurricane name or something
Right.
like
I
that.
love that
Mhm.
one.
That was a
Supermodel.
funny one.
Hey,
Mhm.
MJ, are we expecting Brady, or was there a change in
we
schedule or
were
anything?
expecting him like right at the beginning or perhaps a couple minutes late.
Oh, okay. So it's not unexpected that he's not here yet. then.
No,
Okay.
at least not that I heard last. So
All right.
it's
Good.
Brady though. Who knows?
So, Greg, are you
Um,
going to do like the intros or the teaser, all that stuff, and then it's going to be clear when I'm introducing Trey and reading his intro, right?
Yeah. It should I'll lead you right into that, I guess. And you guys are just definitely gonna have to cut me some slack because
No
let's
way.
see.
Let's get the whip.
Remember, Phil's got 180 episodes of this
Right.
under his belt.
Wow.
Right? So Trey, you're starting. We're now on the downward slide.
Okay.
So we had 180 episodes up, and now we're starting the long, slow descent into. Oh, do you guys remember that podcast, Stormfront Freaks? That was good for a while.
Good for a while.
No, it's going to be amazing, Trey. I'm so excited you're here. Have you been chasing
yeah.
out a lot this spring so far?
I have. It's been quite a grind, I'll say.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, all over Mississippi, Arkansas, everywhere. So,
Oh my-
yeah.
I
Any
won't actually
highlights
ask
so
you too many
far?
questions because I'll.
Yeah, I was haven't had a great season, but I was on the Little Rock tornado
nice.
Oh,
on
wow.
the high risk outbreak. That's
Wait, now,
probably
this may be good
biggest
stuff
one
for
of
the
the season.
interview.
Yeah, no. it's for sure. Yeah.
No, we
Good-
gotta stop
good
asking
point.
questions. Sorry.
Dan, I wanted to ask you what storm you got on your radar behind you there? Is that live or is that a screenshot?
That's an archive of the Little Rock tornado as it had progressed east towards Wynn.
Nice.
Okay.
Is that live or is that Memorex? That's Memorex.
That's
Ooh.
Memorex.
For
Good
all
one.
of us who remember that.
That's good.
Yeah.
Good blast from the past.
Yeah.
Trey, do I understand? Are you going to share screen during any of what you talk about?
I can if you want me
Do-
to. I have some stuff. I don't exactly know what you're going to ask, so I have a few
Great.
graphics
Okay.
prepared
I'm
if you
looking
want.
forward to seeing what you got.
Do you want to make sure you can get it shared? Because I can just sit in the background and then I can bring it up whenever you tell me to.
Sure, I can. Yeah,
Okay.
I just have a few different soundings and radar images.
Okay.
If it comes to that, I don't need them.
Yeah, if it doesn't come
but-
up, that's fine. Doesn't have
Okay.
to. But if it does, if you want to share it.
Oh,
now.
it'll come up because I'm definitely asking you
I know.
to
I want to see
explain
it.
a hodograph.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
The Teffy, I think most of us have a reasonably good idea and stuff, but the hodograph, I think we're gonna. And I'm speaking on behalf of everyone here, but I have no idea whether anyone else has no idea how the hodograph works. But yeah,
You know who you should bring on is Cameron Nixon. He's the hodograph master.
He's the guru for sure.
Yeah.
But
I know a few things here and there.
You don't sell yourself short.
Yeah.
Hey, MJ, have we had Cameron on? I think we have, haven't we?
I don't think so.
It doesn't sound familiar.
You totally have. I've seen it.
Oh, did we? Oh, did we? Okay.
Angela's like,
Yeah, well,
Angela knows better than us.
take someone who actually watches them and listens
I was
to
pretty.
them.
I was pretty sure we had.
Boy, I don't know
Yeah.
when that would have been, but yeah.
I've listened
Wait,
to
by the
every
way, do you
single
have a cold
episode.
drink with you right now? A beer? Alcohol?
No, so I'm about as straight laced as they come. It's water. I've never had a drink of alcohol. I've never had a drink of alcohol in my life.
Oh my god.
You and Jen will get along
You
just
and
fine.
Jen will get
We're like
along.
best buds. I've got
Nice,
some hot
nice.
chocolate. It's wonderful
Nice.
over here. Yeah.
Nice.
Well, Angela and I are making up for that.
Yeah,
Trey.
and I am too.
I'm gone.
We've been drinking your share.
Okay.
Yes.
Nice.
Right on.
Angela, we got a party sometime.
I'm gonna. Did you want to Trey? Did you want to just share the screen now? So
Yeah.
that it's ready to go.
How do I do that exactly?
So yep.
Just
So
hit
down
present.
down in the bottom, it's present. Yep, and you hit
Okay.
that, and you can do then
Share screen.
whatever you want, a window.
Now, the
or a
one
tab
weird
or a-
thing with the share screen, Trey, is that when you click entire screen or whatever tab, you have to click the little thumbnail icon of your screen and then say share screen.
Okay. Let me see here.
I didn't realize I knew that. Or
I
that
don't know either.
secondhand for those of us that have done it for a long time, I'm sure. But
yeah.
Except for
except for
Kim.
Kim, yeah.
Ah,
No, Kim. I miss Kim.
Dan's giggling over there in the background.
We need to have Kim.
Never quite figured that out.
Kim's wonderful.
So just so you know, guys, just a couple little quick housekeeping things before we get started is that normally when Phil's doing this, Phil has control of the sound effects. That ain't the case tonight. So so MJ's got the sound of stop it. Yeah. So we're gonna try to coordinate it and all that kind of stuff. But I think it'd be kind of fun, to be honest with you, if we mess it up, we own it and
make Phil crazy.
It could happen.
Yeah. So
Make NJ's life more difficult.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't need to edit more, but it may be my fault that I do.
Yeah. And Trey, just so I know, where are you right now? What city are you in?
Norman, Oklahoma.
Oh, you're at home.
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
I'm at home.
I love it.
All right. I tried to share the window. Did you get it at all?
No, it didn't. It did not come
All
up.
right. Let me try it again.
Sometimes there are permission issues, Trey.
Yeah.
I'm still having I
Maybe
was able to
in
share before for some reason, and now I just it does not like me at all.
Trey, are you on a Mac or a PC?
I'm on a Mac.
That's the issue. Yeah.
No, that's really easy then.
They MJ, but let's see. Can I share?
I know I'm looking at mine right now too. Make sure that I actually
I know,
before after I say that, it's like, oh yeah.
Okay. It says Chrome has lost permission to capture your screen.
Okay.
Go to system preferences, and then it says restart it. So
which is fine. You can drop out and just come right back in.
okay, let me try this, and then I will.
Can you see what am I sharing?
Yep, I just brought. Yep, yours is there. There it is.
Really? I feel like I never can share. Wow. Sorry, you guys are getting the raw recording of.
That's
Yeah.
all right.
It's pretty exciting. stuff.
Revealing all the secrets.
And
It
I'll
is exciting, revealing all the secrets.
Garrett, Angela, Dan, I'm gonna leave you guys in because it's just I've got plenty of things to worry about without trying to and forget about you in the green room or anything. So we'll just leave you here and
Oh, MJ, you're so wonderful.
That's
Did
scary.
Phil say in the email that this is his 4th episode in a row he hasn't been on?
No, just the 4th
No.
overall out of
Overall.
181
Yeah.
episodes.
Is he storm chasing right now, or like getting ready to?
No, no. I told Greg before. I think Jill, his wife, got tickets for something for them tonight and didn't know that it was podcast night. And well, you know,
Whoa.
you still go
Jill,
even
it-
if that's the case.
It's
Keeps
the
the
wife.
honeydew list short that way.
You keep the wife happy, man.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's exciting.
It's something
So-
like that. I can't remember the specifics, but
When we get Trey back, I think
which I
MJ
got right here. There he is.
Perfect. So we have we're just waiting on Brady, I guess. Should we get started?
Yeah,
with
we'll get
them?
started here in a second. If he'll show up if he can, I'm sure.
All right. So
Oh,
I'm
there,
gonna
got your screen.
You got it?
There it is.
Okay.
Nice.
Now,
Love it.
now let me try something. Let me see if this works.
Trey, you're a
Do you
rock
want me to
star.
show it right now?
Can you see? Sure. Can you see me writing on the screen at all?
No.
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 No, well, keep doing
Oh
it.
yeah.
Oh,
now I can,
wait, yeah, there
I
we
can
Now
see your
can you
Well, we
notes
see your
now.
cursor.
Can you see the pink writing at all?
No.
No,
No.
but that'd
That's
be
all right.
cool.
That's all right. I can do it with the mouse. That's okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Yep. So
I'll stop
would it-
sharing.
oh, you actually you can put it back and just leave it there.
I can just leave it. Okay.
Yep, you can just leave it, and then you can anytime you want to show something, just just verbalize it, and I'll pull it right up.
Okay.
So
All right.
then we don't have to. Yep, you can just flow right through.
Okay. Cool. Sounds good.
Woo-hoo.
All right, Greg. I think you want
All
to
right.
do pre-opening and
So what we're gonna do, Trey, is I'm just gonna record a what we call the pre-opening, which MJ cuts into with some background music and all that kind of stuff, and then we will get right into the show, and you'll know that when you hear the applause go. Does that sound
Okay.
right, MJ? Is that yeah? Dan is doing the golf clap over there.
yeah,
I like
you
that.
you can take a short after you do those two opening bits. You can take a short break, and then you
Yeah.
can count in for the applause.
Yeah, got it. All right. Pre-opening in 3, 2. Hey, Storm Freaks, it's Greg, not Phil. El Nino, La Nina, what does it all mean for storm season? Well, we've got meteorologist and storm analyst Trey Greenwood here tonight to tell us. And we've also got funny weather memes to go with our weather fools. All this on episode 181 of the Storm Front Freaks podcast. All right.
Very nice.
Beautiful.
Look at you,
That
Greg.
is so beautiful.
He's got
I have a face for radio.
No, you don't.
All right, so we're gonna get right into it now. We're gonna go live now in 3, 2, 1. This is the award-winning storm.
Uh-oh. We're gonna
Yeah.
do that again because we lost your audio right when you started talking.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, I wonder
But
what
I
happened there.
we'll just try it again.
Okay. 3, 2. Welcome to the.
Okay,
Welcome
we're
to
gonna
my-
do it. We're gonna do it a third time.
Just play the freaking applause and then we'll.
All right, here we go in 3, 2.
Welcome to the most entertaining weather podcast. This is the award-winning Stormfront Freaks podcast brought to you by the Drive Weather app. Drive Weather's interactive time slider updates the weather forecast along your route based on your departure time in real time. Have a safer trip by finding out the best time to leave to avoid bad weather. Kind of like Fort Lauderdale. You would have probably really enjoyed having the Drive Weather app over there recently. Anyway, add it to your phone at driveweatherapp.com or on the App Store. I want to give a quick shout out to some of our new Patreon teammates for supporting the show. including our new teammates. We've got Chris Johnson, which actually, guys, not my brother, but I actually have a brother named Chris Johnson. But we got enough Johnsons now on the show. We got
Oh
a
my
Mark
gosh.
Johnson. We got a Phil Johnson. We got a great. We also have Danny. We have Cindy. We have Angela. And I believe, MJ, we had another new
Austin.
patron.
Yes,
Austin.
Austin.
Yep.
Austin
Nice.
Weaver joined just today. So that's really exciting. And also a big shout out to all of our VIP Patreon members who are actually with us all live tonight. We've got Dan and Angela and Garrett all with us right now in the green room, and we'll be chatting with them during the breaks. And so if you'd like to become a Patreon member, check it out on the website. So it's always happy hour on our show, and gives us a chance to introduce our co-hosts and learn a little bit about them and find out what they're drinking. So let's go to MJ first. MJ, our producer and Skywarn coordinator up in Minnesota. MJ, what are you drinking?
I'm up in Minnesota where it is in the 80s right now, which is wonderful. So I'm drinking a refreshing vodka sour.
Wow,
it might be my second or third one. We'll see.
And okay, let's go to Dina Knightley, meteorologist and weather producer at weather.com. Dina, what are you drinking?
All right, you guys, I brought my A game today. I actually found something cool. I haven't tried it yet. It's called Dark and Stormy.
Oh,
It is a rum and ginger beer. And
Whoa.
I spent a good half an hour with an owner of a liquor store today trying to find something cool. So hopefully it's good.
That sounds
see.
fabulous.
That does
All right,
sound
hang on.
good. That does sound good. Jen Watson. Now, Jen, I think we all know how this is going to go. She's our contributing meteorologist at the Weather Channel. Jen, what are you drinking?
I am drinking delicious hot chocolate because we're not in the 80s here in Atlanta. Did we even break 70, Dina? Do you know? I don't know if we
I
did.
can look while we're checking.
Maybe low 70s, but yeah, I felt like something warm and cozy. And as you all know, I don't really drink. So
Well, I'm actually drinking a rum and Coke myself in my little hotel
Very nice.
plastic cup, and I'm up here in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, where it is. I think it's only about 40 here right now, but it's still
Really?
beautiful and sunny.
Yeah.
So let's, Jen, are you ready to introduce our guest? I think we should get to our guest. I am so excited about this, and
Yes.
I'm actually so excited to learn a little bit about the weather.
Oh my gosh, me too. So I just have to say, our guest, incredible guest, Trey Greenwood, like his resume is one of the most amazing I've ever seen. So we're going to dive right in. He's been chasing and forecasting severe storms, tornadoes, and hurricanes for over a decade. He's also studied the weather extensively, earning a bachelor's degree in geography with a meteorology and climatology emphasis from Arizona State University, and a master's degree in meteorology from the University of Oklahoma, where he used mobile radar data to study tornadoes. Trey also serves as a team meteorologist and tour guide for extreme tornado tours and creates forecast and case studies on his YouTube site, Convective Chronicles. So, Trey, oh my gosh, I think we're all ready to geek out, learn, and do all the things tonight. But the first question I have to ask you, I'm going to get two, guys. I'm going to sneak in two for the first two. How did you get into weather? And then I have a follow-up question.
So that's a good question. First of all, thanks for having me very much. The first, I don't really remember exactly what it was. I do remember when I was about 2.5, 3 years old, the May 3rd, 1999 tornado outbreak happened in Oklahoma. And I watched a 48 Hours documentary with my parents on the Bridge Creek Moore F5 tornado. And I think after that, I was probably hooked. I would go out in my boxer shorts, do fake severe weather coverage in front of my parents in our living room in Southern California, and pretend to be Gary England and whatnot. And that was probably that's the first memory I really have of really being into weather. Parents watched Twister with me when I was young. And ever since then, it's just been a real huge part of my life.
I love that so much. Now, are you one that obviously you're a tour guide, but do you like to personally chase solo, or do you like, going with a group of people?
So I do a bit of both. Obviously, chasing solo is difficult because there's a lot of distractions when you're out chasing by yourself. You got the radar, the road, the storm to keep in play, so it can be difficult. I usually go out with some friends. Thankfully, being in Norman, I have a lot of good friends here close by that I go out with. But I do go out solo. But the tours are another thing that I really enjoy. It's always awesome going out on the tours, helping people who've dreamt their whole life of seeing tornadoes, helping them get fulfill their dreams, and that's the real rewarding part for me.
I love that. I love that so much. So let's geek out a little bit about your master's degree and the mobile radar and everything you studied. What was the focus of your thesis and everything that you did in Oklahoma?
So I was very fortunate coming to OU. I was able to work with Howie Bluestein. I'm sure you all know who Howie is. I always considered him growing up as I was on the Mount Rushmore of weather pioneers. And I remember when I was little watching a Nat Geo documentary called Cyclone, and Howie was part of that. And I always asked my mom, "Hey, can I get a mobile radar truck for my birthday?" She always said no, but fast forward to a few years ago, I was able to get a spot working for Howie and was very grateful for that. So my thesis was I was able to operate the Raxpol mobile radar. We got some great data, and my thesis looked at a few of those cases, 4 different cases actually of Raxpol data, and just trying to find unique things like tornado genesis. Does it start from the ground up, or does it come from aloft downward? Different radar signatures and stuff like that, using the hodograph, the proximity sounding and matching that up with the radar data, stuff like that. So it was pretty
was there
cool
was there a key storm among those during your tenure doing the mobile radar?
So probably the most fruitful case we got was the Selden, Kansas case from May 24th, 2021. It was a day where there was an outflow boundary. It had lifted north. Everybody was really far south near Leote, I think it was, and was able to convince Howie to get up north. Storms were already producing tornadoes. We got up there, and we got a perfect view of the tornado, basically from birth to the death stage of the tornado. We got a full data set, and Howie said it was one of the best data sets he'd had since Dodge City in 2016. So that was kind of my last hurrah before I defended my master's. So that was a nice way to go out.
That was a great tornado. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I don't want to jump on anyone's toes, but I have so many questions. Dina, do you have anything?
Well, I was curious more because you were telling us right before we started that you have chased down in like Mississippi and Arkansas. Mm-hmm. And I have tried to chase it a little bit down here in the South, and it's just a joke. Like you can't see anything. I'm like, God, why did I even try? And I'm not really good about the geography of Mississippi and Arkansas, but can you give me any tips, or all the listeners tips about maybe trying to find the highest spot if you're in a more cluttered congestion of cityscapes or trees or forests like that here in the Southeast? I kind of gave up.
Yeah, it's tough. I enjoy the challenge of it, forecasting, because it's a different animal than the plains. Really, the storms are a whole different level of nuts out there. The parameter spaces are so crazy out there compared to what we see in the plains usually. As far as tips go, I would stay on the main roads. Try to stay on like I-55, stuff like that. That's where you're going to get your best view. If you try to venture off into the back roads, you're going to have 200-foot tall pine trees right next to the road. At least on the interstates and the main highways, you can actually have some separation, get somewhat of a view. And try to, if you can find a setup where the Mississippi River Delta is in play, that's always when I love going out there. So, for example, we just had the Rolling Fork Mississippi Day. That was a Mississippi River Delta Day. That is always great because the Mississippi River Delta is just pancake flat. So I always try to look for those setups. But when you get into the trees, it can be really difficult. I always try to stay. Because the storms move so fast out there, the best play is just to sit upstream, try to scope out a view, get a view, and let it come to you, because usually in the parameter spaces out there, the tornadoes are going to be long tracks. So you'll probably see something, but it is a whole different animal. It's really tough. It's not for everybody. I know a lot of people just like, a nice relaxed storm chases on the plains, slow moving supercells. I enjoy the challenge of it and the reward of seeing a tornado out there after, making a very difficult forecast usually. So, but it's very tough. It is very difficult.
So Trey, listen, you have mentioned, you brought up Rolling Fork, so let's go down this road, right? Pretty controversial day in the world of storm chasing. There was some people that made some mistakes, and there was, a lot of discussion and everything. But let's talk about, obviously, it was a big deal. Talk to us about like the procedure, the days leading up, the forecast leading up, the morning. What did you see on in the both the parameter space, in the actual surface observations day of, the satellite? Like, what went into forecasting? How were you able to be at that spot at the right time?
So first thing, I don't usually look at the models too far out because they're going to flip flop. So I always keep an eye on the SPC outlooks. They put the day 6 or 7 outlook out, I think. And just at that point, it's just started to monitor. It looked like a really potent trough was coming in, negative tilt trough, which is what you want to see usually for severe weather. And then as the days leading up to it came around, started to see some evidence of discrete storms. That's another thing for the southeast. Obviously, coming out from Norman to the southeast it's a long haul. It costs a lot of money to go out there. So I want to pick setups that usually have a discrete tornadic supercell threat. And that day looked like you were going to have multiple rounds, both along the main frontal band, the cold front, and also well out ahead. And usually those form along prefrontal confluence bands, little convergence areas where the winds come together just slightly to provide just enough forcing for isolated supercells, discrete supercells all by themselves, which have a better chance of producing tornadoes. So it looked more and more as we were going into the 24th, March 24th, the day of the event.
Okay, hold on a second.
Yeah.
Though. You just went into hardcore, crazy storm nerd mode there for a second. Slow.
Yeah, I love storm nerd mode.
I
love storm nerd mode. Come on,
oh my God.
Yeah,
hold on a second.
Dina and I, we're the weather nerds.
Okay, so how do you identify for me, explain what do you mean by a convergence zone?
So a prefrontal confluence band or convergence band is basically when the winds are coming together just slightly. So you'll have on one side, you'll have the winds out of the south-southwest. On the other side of the boundary, you'll have them out of the south-southeast, for example. That creates a little bit of convergence. Air is coming together. And when air comes together, it has no place to go but rise. And we need rising motion for storms. Usually if you have a cold front, for example, that's a lot of forcing. Cold fronts are sloped. And they're really progressive, so they'll force a lot of storms. When you have a confluence band with just very subtle convergence along it, that air is going upward, but it's not going up too drastically. So you're only going to get a few storms usually to fire on those confluence bands. And that's what we look for. That's what a lot of the big Southeast setups like April 27th, 2011, for example.
And so when you say looking for, where are we looking for that? Is in what level of the atmosphere? Are we looking at in wind fields? Is it moisture gradients? Where are you looking for this?
So it can be a little tricky to pick out on models because sometimes the models just can't resolve that stuff. So if we get usually observations today of, and models will pick it out, but usually it'll be, you can see it at the surface. You'll look at your surface winds and you'll see them coming together just slightly. You can also see it aloft. There have been several events where we've had a cold front or some kind of convergence boundary aloft at about 850 millibars, about a kilometer or so off the ground. That's where we look for them. It can be tough, but on the day of, you'll usually see them on satellite. You'll look at surface observations, see the winds just barely coming together. That's how you know you have a confluence band out ahead of the main front.
Right on. Okay, now I cut you off. Keep going.
So it became pretty apparent coming up to the Rolling Fork day that we were going to have the potential for multiple rounds, as I said, on the frontal zone, but also on those confluence bands well out in the warm sector, the juicy air mass. And the juicy air mass that day, the warm sector was really broad. It means that the storms that day had a lot of real estate that they could cover with a very volatile environment in place. So that is why the SPC went with the moderate risk and why everyone was a little bit concerned that we could have long track tornadic supercells because it had so much real estate, so much that parameter space was so large over a large area. And of course, we saw what happened. So, and it became pretty apparent that day that you had several rounds to fire up. There was a supercell, I think, south of Jackson, Mississippi, a little bit too far away from the best parameters. You had stuff on the cold front back out to the west, but some stuff fired down in southern or northern Louisiana, or kind of east central Louisiana, about 5 p.m., 6 p.m. or so, and started to move northward into that favorable environment, kind of all by itself. And it looked like that was going to be the area. And SPC saw it, Chaser saw it. And that's why you saw so many people pinpoint that area right on the Mississippi River, just into Mississippi, because that's where the environment, the wind shear, the instability was maxed out right along that confluence band. And we saw what happened, unfortunately.
So Trey, how obviously it's been a very active year so far.
Mhm.
And I mean, we're just getting into spring. How many, and we've had, I mean, for a couple weeks there, it was just like every 4 to 5 days.
It was
just a
copy
real-
and paste. Copy
Yeah.
and paste.
Mhm.
Yes, it
Yeah.
was. Trey, did you go out every single time, or what was it like for you?
So it was a lot of chasing. I'll say that. That stretch in the end of March, that 2-week stretch from March, the rolling fork day through early April, I was able to get out quite a bit. The setups in the plains didn't really materialize so much. We had a few severe weather days out here, but the tornado threat was fairly minimal, or something happened to kind of mitigate the tornado threat. But definitely was out a lot. We had one in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. There was a little tornado in Fort Worth that we were on that storm. I went out for the rolling fork day, and then going back out to the southeast, was able to go and see the Little Rock tornado when we had those 2 high risks on March 31st. Ended up not chasing on April 4th, that second dual moderate risk day. But it's been quite a busy season. It's been nice to have a little bit of a break here as we start April, but I have a feeling that's going to change soon.
Now, Trey, do you chase like every? Is it? I mean, because I was watching a storm chaser video, and they're like, "Hey, we're going to chase no matter how marginal the setup." Is there a cutoff for you where you're like, "Hey, if it's a slight risk, or if it, maybe not even slight risk." Yeah, or maybe it's like, "Hey, I got to have a 5% hatch tornado parameter, whatever that would be." Like, do you have a cutoff, or is it just kind of a gut thing?
So my goal when I'm chasing is to see tornadoes. That's why I chase. I know a lot of people chase for photography, they want to see structured supercells. I want to see tornadoes. I really enjoy the power of tornadoes, obviously away from people if we can. But I chase for tornadoes. So if there's a legitimate tornado threat, I'll chase it. And if that means going to Mississippi, I'll do it. If there's not going to be a legitimate tornado threat, storms look elevated structure, and it's not, within an hour or two of home here in Norman, then I probably won't go out for it. So
what's a legitimate tornado threat? Because I think that I like, can you quantify that, or is it just like hey, like, I based upon these parameters, I'm thinking that we're at least going to get one tornado somewhere in this region?
I would say it's more of a gut feeling. I look at the models, look at the parameters, and if there's enough low level wind shear with instability, and I think there's going to be a good shot that a storm is going to produce a tornado rather than just be a hailer. If I see, and we'll probably get into this soon, but if I see there's no low level shear, there's lots of instability, we're probably not going to see a tornado that day. So it's going to have to really take a lot. It's going to have to be epic structure to get me out for that. But if I see if it's a 2% day, for example, but it looks to me like there might be a boundary in play or something that can enhance the tornado potential, I'll go out. It's kind of a gut feeling, just based on experience, based on pattern recognition and stuff like that.
Well, Trey, I think looks like a hailer, right? So are you gonna? Sorry, Brady, but
no, you're good.
Looks like a hailer. Are you gonna run for that? Run out there for that one?
I'm staying home. I think tomorrow. It looks like the cap's gonna hold. So
yeah, it looked like it.
Trey, I'm just telling you right now, the last time we chased as a group, I got the tornado guarantee from Greg. I didn't see one. So I think when we go chasing out this May, you might have to I think we might text you and be like, "Hey, do you think there's gonna be tornadoes this day? And if not, maybe we'll just stay in,
Hey, no problem.
We're not
it's kind of one of the biggest it's one of the big advantages of doing a show like this is that we get a chance to meet all these giant brains, and so when we're actually out chasing as a group, we have someone to go and ask that question. Listen, guys, time for a quick break. We've got another Storm Chaser safety tip, and we'll be right back with more from Trey.
Woo. Trey, amazing job. Incredible.
Thank you.
I have so many questions I want to ask you still.
Yeah, fire away. Fire
Oh
away.
my God.
So,
Sorry, guys, I was a little late there.
That's all right. We got you.
We went into overtime, so
Did you win?
Not playing on
Trey,
that.
Yeah,
We
was the
did.
question.
Woo!
I was just going to say, Trey, one of the things we do here when we're recording the Raw is we've got our VIP Patreon members. We got Garrett, Dan, and Angela, which we introduced you to earlier. But we give them an opportunity to ask some questions. Usually Angela and Dan have something clever to ask Garrett. Not so much, but any one of the three of you, anything you wanted to ask Trey? Go ahead, Garrett.
I guess I'll go. I know you're in with ETT now. How does it, working with Alec and Kevin? I know them real good. Nick, pretty good team environment there. How are you and Kevin kind of divvying up the forecasting there? Are you both just hitting it together on that?
Pretty much. So last season, I let Kevin do all the forecast discussions. For the most part, I did a couple of them, but usually he's more of the forecast discussion. It seemed like a lot of the guests came to me for, when we were out chasing, obviously Kevin too, but for the tornado dynamics stuff, if they had any questions like that, or what is that in the sky, what we're seeing, stuff like that. So it's divvied up pretty well.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good group of guys for sure. Fun to be around.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I love it. Being able to, as I said, get people on tornadoes that haven't seen tornadoes before and see them, the joy they have after that is really rewarding for me.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Dan.
Well, I don't actually have a question right now. I think I'm going to defer to the second half.
There you go.
He doesn't want to rain on anybody's parade here.
Right.
I'm in learning mode.
Got it. Angela,
Absolutely.
our slightly
Are you okay?
inebriated friend who's going further and further into sleep position as we go along. Angela, what do you want to ask Trey?
Are you on a plane right now? It looks like you're in like a
very
I'm at
expensive
home. $100,000 home. Anyways, I guess my question would be like, when it comes to shut up. When it comes to like the whole controversy of whether Tornado Alley is shifting, like, what's your opinion on that?
It's hard to say, and I know that's not the answer you wanted to hear, probably, but it's just tough to say. We don't that kind of stuff needs. We need a longer period of time to really figure out whether that's the case or not. Obviously, it seems that way, that we've been shifting east. I think that partly has to do with more and more chasers going out that way and seeing more stuff, perhaps people just being more aware of it. We've had definitely a drought here on the plains for quite a while, and whether or not that's going to be permanent, it's tough to say. We just, if you ask that question in 20, 30 years, we'll probably have a better answer for you, but it's just tough to say right now.
All right.
Thank you.
So here's what we're gonna do, guys, going forward here. When we come back, we'll spend about another 15 minutes or so on questions with Trey, and then Trey, you're gonna hear this sound.
Well, hang on, I wasn't ready for that. Here we go.
All right, Trey, you're gonna hear this sound.
There it is.
There we go.
That lets us know that we're ready for the lightning round, where we'll ask you a few questions. We'll have some fun with it.
Okay.
Greg, you better say flashy and brilliant. I'm just saying this right now.
Flashy and brilliant questions. Yeah.
We know Phil.
We'll see. I know we do have a ton of questions, Trey. Do you have any time limit here at all or anything like that?
Nope.
So if we go a few extra minutes on questions, don't be surprised at all, guys, because I know we got a bunch of them.
No worries at all. I'm here as long as you need me.
Because I think, maybe out of the break, I might hit you up about the photograph stuff. So
Sure.
All right. So yeah, okay. Everyone good? After
Brady, you okay?
yeah.
No, my allergies are bad.
Did you guys win, by the way, Brady? Did you win
Lost
at
to
least?
We
Brady
did.
on that one.
We did by 1 goal in overtime. So
Wow,
Nice.
very good.
Nice.
Did you score it, Brady?
no, but I did check a guy, which I'm not proud of. It was incidental, but I did,
Fight.
Pull the jersey over the head.
My mom wasn't happy about I played since I just got my teeth fixed. But anyway,
Oh, let's see. Smile.
Hey, let's see. Wow,
there he's got
All
it.
right. Brady has his tooth back.
yeah, my mom
And
was.
is it
God.
one that you can? Is it one you can like pull out again, Brady? Or
No, I actually got
party
all
tricks?
6 of them. I got 6 of them done, so they're all
Wow.
sparkly, and I was
Ah,
like scared to drink wine tonight, which was like, come on, what are we doing?
yeah. All right.
Don't
All
worry,
right,
they're tough.
let's keep going here, guys. We got lots of questions for Trey, so we'll come back in 3, 2, 1. All right, welcome back to the Stormfront Freaks podcast. This is Greg, not Phil, and listen, we've got with us meteorologist, storm chaser, all-round good guy. We got Trey Greenwood with us now. Trey, before we get to Dina's question about photographs, I want to ask you real quick about your favorite tornado that you've ever witnessed. Where was it? When? Again, what went down? Why was it your favorite? Go ahead.
That's a tough one. I would probably have to say this might be a little off the wall, but it was May 23rd, 2016. Down in the far southeast Texas panhandle near Turkey. We were chasing all day. Storms were elevated. Then all of a sudden at dark, we had a storm merger and things went nuts. The storm started to rotate, started to produce a couplet. So we were following it on this this farm to market road near Turkey, Texas. And we were just following the storm was moving east. We were just following behind the tornado. What we thought was a tornado. The couplet was pretty strong. And we just decided to stop, see if we could see anything. Couldn't see anything. There was a lot of lightning, but back then I was a noob, if you will. So wasn't really sure what I was looking at. But we were looking ahead, and another storm chaser pulls up in front of us, and we're waiting. We're looking, still looking, and then he makes the quickest 3-point U-turn I've ever seen in my life. So still can't see anything. I'm thinking, well, maybe he sees something. We should probably turn around. So we flip around. It's pitch black except for the lightning. I'm filming out the window, the passenger window, and I see in my camera frame just a black wedge, black mass in the camera frame, probably 100 or 200 yards off in the field.
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
To our north. And so I'm saying, let's get the blank out of there. So we got out of there to the west. Thankfully, it moved off to the north away from us. But that was before we knew all this stuff about deviant tornado motion. The storm was moving east or east northeast, and the tornado was moving back to the northwest at us, and we had no idea. Going
Trey,
back,
I was
Yeah.
literally underneath
That's
that
crazy.
storm with you.
Were you?
Yeah, I was there.
Yeah,
and what was great about that storm was that honestly the movement was so slow, right? Like it really was almost stationary. But yeah, great night. And then the next day was the big.
The next day was the cherry on top.
It was the cherry on top, Dodge City, Kansas.
Yeah.
So yeah, great story. Thank you.
Yeah.
Dina,
How do you guys even chase storms? How do you even chase storms at night? I mean, that's crazy. Like you can't see the tornado. Like what? I don't know. Is it just? I don't know. Is it just like Trey? How many times do you go chasing at night nowadays?
If there's a tornado threat, I'll keep chasing. I like the challenge. I know I keep saying that, but I like the challenge of trying to forecast. I always tell people I like the extra added element of, oh crap, you might die because you can't see it. But there are ways to be safe about it. Learning what I did from that experience and some other experiences. You don't go north of the tornado at night. You probably stay a little bit farther back. And there's ways to do it safely. But I enjoy it at night. Obviously, it's not as photogenic, but it can be rewarding if you see something good and get that shot of the lightning illuminating the tornado. But yeah.
All right, so I want to ask you about photographs. Okay,
Let's do it.
photographs look so complicated. I know you brought some that you want to talk about, but I guess for anybody who's even a novice in weather, and they look at a hodograph, like what, I guess maybe one or two things you want to tell us that you pick out, like what's the best reason you're going to use a hodograph?
First of all, too, I think, what is a hodograph, right? For the people that
Yeah.
may not know that.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah. So I'll start with that. A hodograph is basically you're plotting on a graph, a graph of circles, if you will, the wind vectors at different heights in the atmosphere. And you connect the dots, and that's your hodograph. So it shows you the wind shear, the change in wind speed and direction with height. And so I guess I'll bring up the sounding here just as an example. And if you can see that on the screen there. So this is a sample hodograph, and it's hard to pick one or two things you look for when you're looking at a hodograph, because these are very simple diagrams, but they're so complicated. But I guess the one thing you're looking for if you're chasing tornadoes is you want to see this curvature right here. You want to see this clockwise curvature in the hodograph. That means the winds are moving clockwise. They're changing in a clockwise direction with height. And that is more favorable for tornadoes to form. That gives the supercell, the storms rotation, becomes supercells, and we can get tornadoes from that. So you always want to look for this kind of meat hook or sickle shaped hodographs for in a tornado setup. This one is obviously an extreme case. This was from April 27, 2011, the super outbreak. And, just you can tell if you have any experience with hodographs that this is pretty favorable here. That means there's a lot of spin in the atmosphere, a lot of shear in the low levels for tornadoes. And
explain what you mean when you say that, because again, I think if you don't know, you don't know. What do you mean when you say you can see that there is this favorable tornado wind setup?
So if you can see the diagram here, and it's tough if you're just listening to the audio version, but
yeah,
you basically have a grid. And you have circles emanating out from it. It's not like your typical XY grid where you have grid boxes. These are circles that represent the the value of the wind or the magnitude of the wind.
Got it.
So when the wind is changing in both speed and direction in the first few kilometers of the atmosphere, and especially doing so in a clockwise direction. So for example, if you have a wind that's out of the south, as we have here, the wind is out of the south and it's at that first circle, so it's 10 knots. And say we go up to 1 kilometer. I'm not exactly sure where the 1 kilometer mark is, but let's say it's right here. You have a wind that's out of the southeast now at 45 knots. So you can see that the speed has changed drastically in just that little space in the atmosphere. And it's also changed direction. If we go even up farther, say, 3 kilometers or so, it's now out of the southwest, and it's at over 60 knots. So you can see that as you go up in the atmosphere, the winds are changing in direction in a clockwise manner. So you go from southerly or southeasterly surface winds to more of a southwesterly component just above the surface. That means there's a lot of wind shear in the atmosphere, directional shear, and you also have that speed changing as you go up. That is favorable for supercells because that supercells ingest these rolling tubes of air, for example, vortex tubes, and they get sucked up by the supercell. That allows them to attain their rotation. That's why we need these hodographs to have this curvature, because that veering of the winds with height is best suited for supercells. And then when you have this low level shear like that, that means you have a lot of spin going on in the low levels of the atmosphere. So when you have this meat hook or sickle shaped hodograph, when you have this type of look for it, everyone's seen a meat hook or something like that, a sickle. That's when you have that really strong low level shear and also strong deep layer shear throughout the atmosphere for both supercells. And then that strong low level shear is best for tornadoes. And this is this is a higher end example, but this is a very favorable profile for or hodograph for tornadic supercells.
Got it. Cool. So how does that sickle shape, like, okay, on like the one you pulled up was April 11th. So listen, April 11th, 2011, April of 2011 that was the 27th. Is that the day?
April 27th, 2011. Yeah.
So, I mean, if you would have taken a sounding anywhere, that day, you would have probably got a very similar type photograph. Correct. So what is it, and how does that sounding at that spot at that moment, how does that help your forecasting when the entire region, for example, is probably showing a similar type photograph?
So from these diagrams, these whole sounding diagrams, and I'll zoom back out here on the screen, this left portion is a skew T. That tells us the thermodynamics in the atmosphere, how the temperature of the air changes as you go up, how moist the air is as you go up. And of course, we just looked at the hodograph there, this top right box, which shows you your kinematic profile, your wind profile as you go up in the atmosphere. Now, you're going to have in these higher end setups, you'll have a broad area where the parameters are going to look really good, but obviously they're going to be subtle changes. The atmosphere is not, perfect. You're going to have subtle changes. Perhaps, as we talked about earlier, those little confluence bands, you might see a slightly better hodograph on the east side of a confluence band than you will on the west side. So that might help you target maybe a little bit farther east out in the warm sector for that. You also may see something like this, where you have a little bit of an inversion here, this little bit of capping inversion. The red profile here on the skew T is your temperature profile. And if it juts out to the right like that, that means you have a little bit of a capping inversion, the lid on the atmosphere that could inhibit or not allow storms to go up through that. And you may get what we call a blue sky bust. Obviously, on this day, this was not an inversion that held anything back on April 27, 2011. But you can have something like this that looks, and we call it a warm nose because it juts out so much that it'll sap your instability and not allow storms to fire. Maybe that is in one portion of your setup, but you see a little bit weaker cap, maybe east of a confluence band or right north near the surface low, where you have a little bit better forcing to get storms through that. So you might target that area versus another area where the cap might be too strong or your wind profiles are not quite as favorable. So, observed soundings, obviously we don't have, you can't have an observed sounding, a weather balloon go up at every single point within a possible severe weather area. But we have these model soundings, which can help us. They're not perfect. They're models. They're computers giving their best guess at things. But you can see differences if you pull a bunch of soundings across the target area. And usually you'll see, maybe some that are just slightly better than others that have maybe a greater tornado threat from a chasing perspective. You might want to go there instead of where the soundings are just not quite as favorable elsewhere.
So at what point during the day do you transition from even looking at soundings to just watching radar? Or does that point ever come, or do you constantly go back to the soundings?
So I try to look at soundings as much as I can through the day. Obviously, the weather service offices only have a certain amount of soundings. So they release them usually at 7 a.m. Central Time and 7 p.m. Central Time. But on bigger days, they'll release them at maybe midday or something, maybe 3, 4 p.m. That is super helpful, especially on bigger days, to see how the atmosphere is changing from the morning. Because when you're doing your forecast in the morning, picking a chase target, you'll look at soundings. So you should be looking at soundings because that's observed data. The day of a chase, you should stop really looking at models. You should look at the observed data. And the soundings are a really critical piece of that. So if you release soundings throughout the day on a big event, they usually will. You can see how the atmosphere is changing throughout the day, and maybe you'll readjust your target if a sounding maybe at Dallas Fort Worth looks too capped, but maybe a sounding at Norman doesn't look quite as capped. You maybe can adjust based on what you see from the soundings.
That's so interesting, Trey. I feel like all of us here could listen to you speak for hours, like an entire day. Like we could lengthen this podcast.
I would like to take a little hodograph class.
Yeah,
sure.
No
Let's
kidding.
do it.
No kidding.
Trey, we still want to, but I want to talk a little bit about Enzo,
Sure.
El Nino Southern Oscillation. We had been in La Nina for basically like a year and a half, right?
La Nina.
Yeah.
It's been,
Every time I think of that, I think of
like a
Chris
really
Farley.
long time.
Mhm.
Yeah. And so now we're starting to transition to neutral. Looks like El Nino later this year. How does that impact, and how are you feeling about this year's spring chase season, even though it's obviously been very active already, and then the hurricane season, because you do chase hurricanes, don't you?
Correct. Yeah.
Yes. So tell us a little bit about what you're thinking for the rest of the year.
So I'll preface this by saying I'm definitely not an expert in this climate teleconnection stuff, but I did work with it at ASU. My honors thesis dealt with ENSO stuff, and I did a lot of research for that tornado forecast video on my Convective Chronicles channel. So I do know a good amount about it. And we've already seen the effects of the background teleconnections with the early part of the season. We've set a record basically for the first 3 months of the season, January through March, for tornado count in the U.S. And that is partly because of the favorable progression of the ENSO phase. We're going out of La Nina into neutral. That, based on the research from Lee et al., I believe was one of the papers I used in that video, that shows that that's a really favorable setup for March and April tornadoes in the U.S. And obviously it's come to fruition. Now later in the season, the connection between ENSO and tornado frequency is not quite as strong as you go into May and June. So April, I think there's still some hope for a fairly average to above average April. We've already had a fairly active start. We're in a little bit of a lull now, but some of the models are hinting that we might get out of that by the end of April. So I think we'll start to see the things come to fruition again with some more active setups. May and June are a little bit in question. The ENSO teleconnection again is not quite as strong that late into the season. It's much better earlier in the year, but based on just some of the analogs I saw in my, I looked at for my ENSO forecast, tornado forecast video, some of the Mays and Junes in those years were kind of iffy for tornadoes. For example, 2018 was one of the analogs for the particular ENSO setup we're in. That was one of the more dismal, at least chase seasons in recent memory, especially in May and June. We had one event early in May and maybe a day or two in late May, and that was about it. And going into June, it was equally quiet. So some of those analogs, most of the analogs, unfortunately for chasers, fortunately for people who live in these areas, looks like it might be a little bit quiet as far as May and June go. But since we've had such an active season so far, that might just bring us down to average, and we may end up having just an average season. As far as hurricanes go, I'm not too well versed in the hurricane teleconnections, but El Nino, as we go into summer, we'll probably see an El Nino. We're actually going into El Nino a little bit faster than what forecasts were showing. And that tends to suppress activity in the Atlantic and bolster activity in the Eastern Pacific. So places like Baja California, Western Mexico, out in the Pacific there, they may see a little bit more active season, whereas on the Atlantic, we might get a break. I know it's been kind of an active stretch for us in the Atlantic for the last several years, especially along the central Gulf Coast there, Louisiana, Mississippi. We may see a little bit quieter year there, but on the flip side, the Gulf of Mexico is a bathtub right now. The water is boiling out there. So it's competing factors. It's hard to say. The background teleconnections say we might have a quiet hurricane season in the Atlantic, but you can never count out the Atlantic. We've already had that little tropical-esque low there today, produce some tornadoes in Georgia. The Gulf is boiling. So if we get any storm going into the Gulf, watch out for sure.
That's great to know, Trey. Oh my gosh, yes, we're gonna have you on again for a second round, part
sure.
2. I feel like,
For sure.
And just one final quick question: do you chase more tornadoes than hurricanes, or how do you factor that in? With everything that you do, and what hurricanes do you chase?
So I definitely chase those hurricanes just based on the frequency of them and where I'm located. Norman is obviously kind of in the center of things, so tornadoes are easier to chase and supercells are easier to chase.
You get plenty of hurricanes in Norman, don't you? Right?
What was that one in 2007 or 8? The land hurricane or whatever?
Yeah.
But yeah, I do enjoy chasing hurricanes because it's a different type of chasing. You can't really bust when you're chasing a hurricane because you see it coming. Tornadoes are a lot harder to forecast, but you can see a hurricane coming. But as someone who enjoys experiencing the power, obviously you never like to see it in populated areas like that, but I enjoy experiencing those strong winds around me and the eye wall of a hurricane. So usually I'll try to chase usually Cat 3 or above. I've chased some Category 1s and 2s. Those were, from a chasing perspective, at least not quite as exciting. But I've been in hurricanes like Laura and Ida, Category 4s. You still haven't seen a Category 5, but I usually try to go for Category 3 and above, as those really get the juices flowing from a chasing perspective.
That's awesome. Love it.
Uh-oh.
Is that a hurricane?
There's that sound. It's now time for our world famous lightning round. This is a game show of flashy and brilliant questions.
I can't even believe you said that with a straight face.
Yeah. Okay, so we invite everyone to play along with us. And listen, Trey, I understand you are a poker player. You enjoy playing poker?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I do.
You like playing poker? Okay. Well, first of all, before we get into the game show, what's more a bigger adrenaline rush? You're sitting there with pocket aces, and then an ace comes up, and there's somebody is betting hard against you, and your adrenaline starts. So, what is that a bigger adrenaline rush, or is the tornado the bigger adrenaline rush?
I gotta say, I've been close to a lot of tornadoes. There's nothing better than check raise bluffing on the river.
Oh yeah.
And getting
rock,
them to fold.
baby.
Yep.
All right. So Trey, have you ever been to Vegas? You ever been to
I've
Vegas?
been to Vegas once. I've not played poker in Vegas.
You've never played poker in Vegas.
Wow.
All
You
right.
got to
I've
put
not.
that on your bucket
Greg,
list.
have you
Trey.
played
It
poker in
definitely
Vegas?
is.
I actually have played poker in Vegas.
Wow.
But
Did you walk out with your pants?
No,
Or
no. I
it
mean,
changes
no. I'm not.
everything.
I am not a poker player like Trey. It was one of those. You know, it would be a hoot. Let's go play poker. Anyway,
Well, maybe
Listen.
we'll see him in May, and we.
I'll,
can
you know
play
what?
some
I'll bring the
poker.
chips. I'll bring the poker chips.
Let's go.
Right on.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
right on. Okay. Well,
do it.
listen. Tonight we're playing Sin City Hold'em or Fold'em.
Wow.
Okay.
So, freaks, you guys are welcome to play along. But Trey, we're going to give you the first crack at answering these questions, and then, listen, I went through them, and I'm pretty sure we've thrown a few softballs here.
Okay.
So, if you strike out, like, listen, our last guest we had on this show.
Oh God.
Uh-oh.
Now, I don't think I'm not throwing anybody under the bus here, right? Our last guest was the worst lightning round player in the history of the Stormfront Freaks. And if you want to know what I'm talking about, you don't have to listen. Go back and listen to the last step. But OMG, was it bad?
He's 100% right.
So
100%
Trey,
right.
you don't actually have very big hat to fill
Okay,
today.
good.
But are you guys all ready to get into this?
Yes.
All right. So Trey, if you get it right, you're going to hear this sound. Boom. If you get it wrong, you're going to hear the following sound.
Ah.
So we got to hear lots of ding, ding, dings. Okay, Trey?
Okay.
All right. So question number 1. What Polynesian-themed casino on the Las Vegas Strip, which is the permanent home of the Beatles' Love, gets its name from a false vision of water that is often seen in the desert?
I believe that would be the Mirage.
Yeah.
That's right.
Woo!
1 for 1. That's
Wow.
good. We started off pretty easily, though. That was a bit of a soft.
I had no idea. So don't
Okay.
ask.
Well,
Yeah,
he
it may
still
fall- it may
gave
fall
one
off here. We'll
clue
see.
Yeah, he gave that
Okay.
one good clue.
All right. So, question number 2. If you're in Vegas and you need some fuel for your risk-taking adventures, head over to Evil Pie on Fremont Street. This pizzeria is a wall-to-wall tribute of memorabilia devoted to which death-defying daredevil?
Oh,
Just based on the name, I'm going to say Evil Knievel. Okay.
Bingo. That's
Eric got it too. Yep.
2 for 2. That's pretty good. All right. Okay. Number 3. Getting a college degree might not be your top reason to go to Vegas, but which university makes its home campus in Las Vegas?
University of Nevada, Las Vegas, the Running Rebels.
You bet.
Damn,
I
Trey.
feel like Trey, you have already surpassed.
He's already kind of won already.
Oh yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm gonna
what?
be honest.
Yeah,
I don't
go
know
ahead.
any of that. I don't know what's happening. I really
Seriously?
don't. I know none of these. I don't know how you guys are getting them, but
Okay.
Garrett is on fire.
Number 4. What Las Vegas hotel and casino located in Las Vegas, Nevada, at the southern tip of the Strip, is owned by MGM Resorts and has an Egyptian theme? A little tougher one, hey Trey?
Oh, that one is tougher.
Oh, gotten a little smut there.
Does it start with an
Egyptian
what is it?
theme. It's
Is it the Grand?
There's a pyramid. There's a
it's
sphinx.
is it Caesar's Palace?
Oh my God!
Ah,
That is the Luxor. The
Yes.
Luxor.
That's
oh,
right.
Yeah.
I
Oh
didn't
my
get that
God.
either.
The Luxor is the one with the big pyramid, right? Isn't that
That's
the,
right.
the
That's
big-
right.
That is correct.
You got a big
Yeah,
gaming
you
arena
see it when you
inside.
fly in.
Yeah.
I should have known that one.
Yeah.
It is
That's
really
okay.
old. I stayed there like a year ago. It's like disgustingly old. So
Yeah, it is.
Really?
recommend it.
Really?
Yeah.
It is.
All right,
One
next
star.
question. Number 5. You're 3-1 now, Trey. So number 5. What 2012 comedy was filmed mostly on site at Caesar's Palace, including the lobby, pools, and elevators?
Oh boy. So believe it or not, I hate movies. I cannot sit through
Whoa.
movies.
What?
But I think it's The Hangover.
Yes.
Nice.
Good one. Good
I'm
one.
an Ed
Good one.
Helms fan, so I
Yeah,
like
Carlos.
Ed Helms,
and
so-
speaking of Ed Helms, Brady can't pull his tooth out to show you right now. But
I will
he
say
had that
I
whole
could
thing
if I
going
really
on.
tried. I could if I really tried,
no,
but then
no.
it would be thousands more dollars.
All right, question number 6. A cool $250,000 buys one night of VIP, including Jay-Z branded champagne and the right to control the famous fountains at this Las Vegas Strip hotel.
That is the Bellagio, I believe.
It's the Bellagio.
I didn't realize
I'm gonna say it.
250,000.
That's that
Yeah.
much. Really?
$250,000.
There's a lot of things you could do with that kind
I'll
of money.
get you guys all one.
Oh, thanks,
Do
Tina.
it. Yeah.
I mean,
Is
you
that-
can build
is that
one
a
hell of a
se-
chase. You
Secret
can build one hell of
Santa?
a chase vehicle with 250K. I'm just telling
Yeah.
you that right
Good.
now.
There's a lot more you can do.
The
About 4 of
Batmobile.
them.
All right,
Yeah.
next question. In 1998, the lights on the strip went down and casinos paused play for 1 minute to mark the death of which blue-eyed singer who may have loved the Big Apple but is home away from home was the Sands.
I think I'm too young for this, possibly.
Yeah, probably, but you should still know it.
Likely.
I didn't know it. I didn't know it
1998.
until I see Garrett just posted.
Remember, the good clue is the blue eyes.
Yeah. That won't mean
Oh.
anything though.
Wait, it's Sinatra.
Are you good?
Frank Sinatra. No,
He
Oh,
he,
nice.
he did it well taking a drink.
I did. I
Nice.
gotta think. I just had to think. I like the old
Yeah.
music. That's
Yeah.
a little not my
Nice
thing,
job, Trey.
but
Good job, Trey.
Garrett's
right.
killing it too.
Yeah, he is
Yeah.
really killing it. Okay, next question. If it's your first trip to the strip, you have to stop and get your picture taken in front of the famous sign that says, "Welcome to blank Las Vegas." What is the blank? Welcome to blank Las Vegas.
that I have no
Oh.
idea.
Oh,
Viva.
fabulous.
No. Fabulous.
Freaks.
Well,
there it is. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
welcome to fabulous Las
Fabulous.
Vegas. Oh, I guess MJ, you're right. I should have gone to the freaks on that.
I gave it to you. Don't worry.
All right, and then we got 2 more here for you, Trey.
Okay.
We're gonna lightning round this up here. Okay, Swamp Thing, Diamond Dog, and Grissom escaped on fire trucks after a massive plane crash on the Vegas Strip at the end of what 1997 Nicolas Cage movie?
Oh, shoot.
Yeah. It's funny. I could remember Nicolas Cage before I remembered the name of the movie.
Swamp
Is
Thing,
he-
Diamond Dog, and Grissom.
Starts with
He
a
had
C.
really terrible hair in it.
He has really terrible hair.
Yeah, he has it anyway. doesn't
Yeah.
he?
Yeah. But this one was.
I don't know.
This one
He
was.
was
don't know.
particularly bad. You're right, Dee.
Yeah. It was bad.
That would be Freaks.
Con Air.
Con Air,
right,
right?
yeah.
Yep. All right, now last question. Viva Las Vegas, the 1964 song made for the movie Viva Las Vegas, was originally recorded by what legendary American rock and roll musician?
That one's
Gotta
pretty.
be Elvis Presley, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Gotta
I
be
think
Elvis.
kind of gave it
Oh.
away.
Yeah, you
I was
did.
gonna guess I was gonna guess Johnny Cash or AC/DC, but you know.
Great job.
Thank you.
Nice job, Trey.
Thank you.
Trey, you're awesome.
Thank you.
So thanks for playing, Trey. Listen, Trey, where can our listeners follow you on social media, on YouTube? Tell us all of your contact information that way so they can look you up like we will.
So it's Convective Chronicles on everything. Either it's a tornado as the profile pic or a weather map as the profile pic. You'll see it. But Convective Chronicles on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. So anywhere there, you can find me.
Great handle, by the way. Listen, guys, we're going to take our final break now, and when we're not done, because when we come back, we've got tonight Weather Fools and funny weather memes are coming right up.
Woo.
All right.
Trey,
Very
that
good,
was
everybody.
Thanks, Trey.
Nice,
Thank
nice.
you. Yeah, no, that was tough. Those were tough. You can see how much little of a movie fan I am. No, I just
No, you did.
never
you
been
did
a movie
really
fan.
well. You
Yeah, you did.
definitely have to go and
Yeah,
listen
you
to our
did well.
previous episode.
Oh God.
That bad?
It was.
Oh,
bad.
it was bad.
Okay, Dan
I'm
Wallace.
glad I did better.
Dan Wallace, you have a question you've been holding on to for Trey here.
Yeah. So other than like a phone and a camera, what are the other things that are important that you want to always bring on a chase?
So I'm pretty simple. I pretty much take a phone and a camera. I'll be honest. A phone and camera plural. Cameras plural. I have, but I'm not one of those people who has a laptop mount with a laptop. I do everything on my phone. It's just easier for me. I've got radar scope. I've got my websites, my tabs all saved on the internet to use. But I do have my cameras. I have a dash cam, a Sony AX33 4K. My handheld cam's an AX100 4K from Sony, and then I have a GoPro that I'll stick on top with a magnet mount. But that's about it. I like to keep it simple. I like to have as few distractions as possible because it's already distracting enough with looking at roads and stuff and the storm and whatnot. So I like to keep it as simple as I can.
Do you prefer to be a passenger?
I do. I'm fine driving. I've driven a lot when chasing, but I definitely prefer to be a passenger.
And
Agree.
And I've got a quick follow-up. What are a couple of the websites you like to visit on a chase day?
So definitely have the SPC up. Definitely have the Surface OBS up. I use the UCAR site, UCAR Surface site. I'll have College of DuPage up for satellite. I have visible satellite up at all times. That's pretty important. Let's see. I'll have the models up. The HRRR, the high resolution models, I'll look at just for comedy's sake, usually, because they usually flip flop so much. But I like to see what they say just for giggles. And then SPC meso analysis, because that's important as well. See where the best instability and stuff and wind shear is. But those are probably my top few: the SPC, the observed data, and then the models on the side.
On the meso analysis, Trey, is there a particular parameter that you're looking at? I know they do a lot of cool, really combined parameters.
It depends on the setup, but generally I'll look at mixed layer cape. That's a good one for instability. I'll look at effective bulk shear and effective storm relative helicity, because that takes into account any capping that's in play, and shows you what airs the storm is ingesting, what's the helicity and shear in that. And I'll also look at 0 to 3 kilometer cape and vorticity. That's been a big one. There's been a lot of research in recent years about that and how that can, if you have higher low level instability or 3 cape, can really stretch that spin in the low levels in the vertical. And so that's a big one I look at, but it depends on the setup. The upper air maps, obviously the 500 millibar, the 700 millibar for short waves and stuff, but it just depends.
Thank you.
Garrett or Angela, either of you have a question?
I do. So, fellow Oklahoman, tips or tricks to avoiding chaser convergence in Oklahoma on a high risk day?
You can't.
Great question.
Good question.
You simply cannot. That is fortunately or unfortunately, just part of the game these days. And you have to, it's almost like an extra factor you have to factor in your forecast. So if it's a Saturday in May in Oklahoma and it's a high risk, you're going to see everybody and their mother out. We saw that a couple of years ago with that May 20th, 2019 high risk. Everybody and their mother was on it. But it's just part of the game now. Personally, I like to chase a little bit closer to those tornadoes. I like to get a little bit closer. You don't see as many people there. Obviously, it's dangerous, and if you're inexperienced, that might not be the best option. But unfortunately, it's just part of the game right now, and especially if you, I call it sitting in the middle. And there's nothing wrong, nothing derogatory about that at all. It's sitting in the middle, a couple miles, 1 or 2 miles, 3 miles back. You have the people who like to time lapse it from way back, several miles back, and you have the people that are up close. That's where the convergence is going to be the least. A lot of times you'll find people right in the middle there. That's where that's where you'll find your worst experience. But it almost becomes a southeast type chase where you just have to find a spot, get out ahead, let it come to you, and watch the conga line in front of you and try to get back in when you can, and just hope you can get in a timely manner. But it's tough these days. It really is.
Conga line.
I love it.
Garrett?
Yeah, I was wondering, do you ever use the HREF and the SREF when you're?
I do. I don't use it as much. The SREF in particular. But HREF I do because that's a really good way to look at the convective aligning models, which I'm not a huge fan of to begin with. But if you look at them from an ensemble view, which the HREF does, it's a lot better. So I will use it sometimes. I like looking at their those SPC type maps they put out for 24-hour tornado probabilities. Those are kind of cool to see what the cams are showing in as a whole. But yeah, I'll definitely use HREF more than the SREF.
See, Phil and I actually we like using the model that shows what we want it to be. Like
Fair
that's the one we generally go with, the one that
You can't go wrong with that strategy. I mean, that's a
Right,
foolproof
right.
strategy right
Fair
there.
enough.
you know?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Fair
Mhm.
enough.
All right. Here's what we're gonna do, Trey. We're gonna get to go into, what are we doing here?
Weather fools.
Sound clip.
Sound clip. Yep, that's the
We'll
next
do
thing.
sound clip. So Trey, if you don't mind doing for us, if you could say something along the lines of, "Hi, this is handsome meteorologist, storm analyst Trey Greenwood, and you're listening to the Storm Front Freaks podcast."
Okay.
Do you mind doing one
Anytime.
of those first? Yep.
Yeah,
And then
sure.
talk about what a great host Greg has been. You know, you can
Right,
go on
right.
long.
Just
Yeah.
the regular stuff.
Yeah.
All right. This is meteorologist and storm chaser Trey Greenwood, and you are listening to the Storm Front Freaks podcast.
Professional.
Amazing.
Woo!
So
That
awesome.
took Ken Torrey 4 tries.
I don't even think
Really?
Ken Ford did. Yeah, I was going to say he didn't even do it.
That's true.
That was so
Cantori
good,
can
Trey.
just
True.
say whatever he wants.
That's right.
That's the
Cantori's
thing, you know?
Cantori.
It took Gary England like 4 tries too. Like rub it up,
Yeah,
flip
yeah.
it up,
And it was 30
rub it
seconds
down.
long.
Oh yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
I love it.
All right. So,
Trey, so fun.
Are you going to stick, Trey? Can you stick around, or
Yeah.
do you need to go?
No, I'll stick around.
So you get to be part of the freaks now for the next
Cool.
couple of
Love it.
pretty short.
We are
segments,
freaks.
so.
Awesome.
So Brady, you're going to introduce Weather Fools.
Boom.
This is your wheelhouse. Who's got Weather Fools? I got one, Brady.
I have one.
two.
I have one.
Wow.
Packed house. Everyone's got one.
Well, we had to, fill in because Phil's
Yeah.
having stick for eight,
Bill's
you know.
42.
Yeah, we should we'll probably check the chat to see if Phil's listening in. If he's got like, oh, I've got 10.
Listen. And I always
Garrett-
tease him.
Garrett
I'm like,
says
why
Phil
don't
had
you
7.
spread those out a little?
Mhm.
Okay, so I'm
All right.
seeing Jen's screen, I'm seeing Dina's screen, I'm seeing mine, and there's Greg's. Okay.
Right on.
Who's got funny weather memes? Anyone?
Funny weather memes. I did not bring.
That
I
I,
didn't
don't
bring
have
one.
any.
You
Guess
might
what?
have to skip that.
Guess what? We won't have funny weather.
Well, we have plenty of weather fools.
Oh my gosh, Phil is going to be so angry at all of us. If he was here right now, Trey, here's what Phil would be doing right now. He'd be like, "Jesus Christ, you guys!"
That's right.
And I like a lot
I
of us.
sent you
Like,
this,
I
like,
come
3
with one
days
all
ago.
the time.
Yeah,
I know.
no.
Wait, hold on. We can find some really quick. Hold on.
Where would you find funny weather memes?
What
You
if we just do
Google
our
it.
favorite Phil
Google.
moment?
Just Google it.
I'm gonna do a cat meme.
Oh,
Let me
this
see if
is
there's a
good. I
cat
found
weather
Oh
one.
no. Phil will love that.
I have a weather meme. If we
You do.
could not have all 4 seasons of weather in 1 week, that'd be great. From The Office.
All right, I've got a weather meme.
Okay.
All right,
good.
I got one too.
Okay.
All right, hang on. I'm looking at something good. All right, I've got one. Okay, so who's got them?
Oh, I
I've
got one now.
I
If
do.
Okay, so Jen has one, Greg has one, Brady has one, and I have
Saving
one.
the day.
So then we
Oh.
gotta say we gotta finish it with episode. What are we on? 181
Episode 181.
181.
Episode 181 show notes.
show notes. And there was no special way we got to introduce funny weather memes, was there? Because
There's a clip, the cruel summer clip.
so just let that play.
So I'll play that, and you can talk over it because I'll just
Okay.
pot it down as time.
All right.
Well, that's an old
All right.
term. Pot it down. Did anybody remember that?
No.
God, that's
Pot
an
it
that's an
down.
old radio
No.
term. Back from my days at
You
Star
guys, I
96
mute-
FM.
You guys, I turned off my
Okay.
camera because my computer's starting to freeze. So let me know if I start cutting up or anything.
okay.
Okay. So MJ, I'll do the we're back
Nope.
with what do we do here?
Nope. Let's see. Nope. I just come in. We count it down. I come in with the who and the applause, and Brady takes it. And
Got
runs.
it. Perfect.
Okay.
I believe, is how we do it.
Yes.
I'm gonna walk. I'm gonna.
That's
That's
how we're
we're
gonna
going
do
to
it.
do it. Yeah.
That's how we're gonna do it because
I'm gonna
Phil's
do
not
it
here to
maybe
yell
a
at
little
us.
more
Screw Phil.
chill.
Screw
just-
Phil.
I have to find it. Okay. All right. Are we ready?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
We're coming in 3, 2.
Welcome back, Stormfront Freaks. Everyone that's listening in, guys, what is that sound? Who is that band that's playing right now? Does anyone know who that band is? That's the Who, guys, and I only know that because Phil told me. So that's the Who. Who am I? I'm Brady. What is this segment? It's the Weather Fools. And what is the Weather Fools for those that are a little forgetful? That's me. My grandma's also a little forgetful. Hopefully she's not listening to this podcast right now. She'll probably kill me. But what is the Weather Fools? Well, it's us as the weather, Stormfront Freaks. We're going out on the internet. We're going out on the dark web, as Phil likes to say. We can bash Phil all we want. So he's not here tonight. So we're going out on the internet, and we're looking for someone that did something not so smart, and it deals with the weather. This could be a picture, this could be a video, and I understand since Phil's not here, we got to pick up the slack this week. Guys, I know we brought the Weather Fools this week. Dina, who is your Weather Fool this week?
Okay, I have 2, and they're quick. But this one is, with all the snow out in the Sierra. This guy, it's what it's like to shovel off the roof of my house, standing on the roof for the first floor trying to clear the snow. And this guy is just like, the snow on his roof is higher than he is.
Oh
And
my
Digging
God.
like a cave.
Yeah, it's the craziest thing because you see, I think the highest snow total we saw out there for the season was like 800 inches or something insane.
Wow.
But look at this guy. It's like, and he's on his roof. You can't even tell where this, is he on the ground? Is he on the roof?
I think he's fighting a losing battle there. Right?
Yeah. I mean,
Yes.
I don't know where he's
it's
going.
insanity. But that one I just had to show you because that's like, wow, that's just an accident waiting to happen.
That is an accident.
And then I have this one's kind of cute, just the epic ice slip. The guy's into ow!
There he goes.
And he goes down, and
Down he goes.
I feel this guy's pain when he hits the ground.
Oh,
Wait,
wow.
is that Brady's hockey team?
I'll say this right now, Greg. We would have fallen way before that guy did. I'm just telling you right now. That guy stayed up for an unbelievable amount of time.
He did. You don't see him get up though with his dislocated shoulder.
No, he went down
He's
hard.
not getting back up. He's like, screw this man. All right, so that was my 2. I just thought they were kind of funny.
Wow, they are. And I think as winter is ending, we'll see less and less of that and more weather fools for severe weather and flooding. I'm sure we're going to see some of those. Jen, I understand you have a weather fool this week. Who is your weather fool this week?
I do have a weather fool. So basically it's just everyone in Fort Lauderdale who is just like, you know what? It's okay if we're, making records with the rainfall. We're still going to drive through it and get to wherever we need to go. Insane flooding this week, as you probably know. And actually just in a day, they got over 20 inches reports of, what was it? 26,
25, 26
That's
inches.
crazy.
Yeah. Which
Look
is
at that.
crazy,
It's
but
above it's like barely see the top of the car.
Yeah. Let's just drive through that.
But
That's
I
smart.
like how they all the flooding ones. It's always like somebody in a truck. I got a truck.
And the
I got
thing
me a
is,
truck.
people don't realize, even if that water doesn't get up like above like the engine, the splash of the water as you're driving, that still gets into it. So even like lower flooding where you're just like, oh, we can still drive through it. No, but that still damages your engine. You don't need to do that. Like it's smarter and better just to stay home, stay where you are, and just wait it out. So
Oh yeah,
yes.
and I saw pictures of Fort Lauderdale literally looking like a zombie town, because there were just abandoned cars everywhere. Because I think it caught a lot of people off, by surprise. But then again, it had been raining all day, so turn around, don't drown, people. If you see high water, please turn around and don't drown, because I don't want to see you on this podcast. That's for sure. All All right, Greg, you want to go next? Who is your
No,
weather
I
fool
don't.
this
I
week?
do not want to go next. And the reason
Well,
is
that's
that
too bad.
my weather fool was the exact same weather fool that Jen just
Oh no!
presented.
Oh, there you go.
So I
man.
mean, it's gonna be, and I know this is the type of moment that would really piss Phil off. But there we are. But let me just say about that video, the one. You see the one thing I don't understand. You watched one car go by and the wheels up, kind of to the running boards on the bottom of the car. But then, like a few minutes later, seemingly the same amount of water, you see a roof of a car kind of floating down the same path. So I'm just either a really, really low rise type. I mean, it is Florida, so maybe it is some sort of low riser or low ride. Well, you know what I'm trying to say. Anyway. That's it for me, Brady. No weather fool.
Tag me, Greg. Tag me.
Yeah. MJ, go ahead. I understand. You didn't slack off this week. I know you brought a weather fool that wasn't a copy. So go ahead and.
I'm lucky because I always get the ones that are contributed by by our fans, and our own VIP Garrett contributed this one, so I should almost have him introduce it. But you have to watch this, okay? It looks like a peaceful day, sort of, although there's a little hail coming, right? But this guy's on his porch. He's just filming the weather, and you just have to wait for it because this is absolutely crazy. It's hailing a little bit. If you can hear the audio, it's getting a little bit loud. Now you can start to see some, haziness. And watch this.
Yeah. Okay.
Watch this.
Oh my
Here comes the
gosh.
wind.
Oh my
There
God.
goes
You
the
can see the
garbage
garbage
can.
can.
Yeah.
Guy's still standing on his porch, just filming it. Watch the
Oh.
trees.
Oh my God.
Watch everything that happens.
Holy.
And then he turns away for a moment, right? And you can see in the reflection, you can see all the debris flying around.
Oh my God.
Now look.
Oh my God.
Oh, huge freaking tree.
That's a big tree.
Is that a legit tornado? Just hit it.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's a Little Rock tornado. That's a Little Rock tornado.
Yes. And he
Oh my
stands on his
gosh.
porch and films this entire thing. Trees laying down on the car, probably 20 feet away from him, if that.
Oh, that dude is lucky to be alive.
Absolutely incredibly lucky to be alive.
Like
Yeah, he
all it
is.
would take is one small object traveling
Yes.
at 200 miles an hour and hitting him in the
He's
head.
going to pan around. You have to.
Oh
That's
my-
why it's a little bit long, but you have to wait for it. And you got to go and see this. If you're listening to this podcast, go to the video and look. He pans around and look at it.
Jeez.
Oh my
Wow,
God.
that's a big tree.
The neighborhood is gone.
It's
Yeah, look at all
Oh,
the
and some hit his house
trees.
too. Some hit his house.
absolutely
house.
incredible. That is a supreme weather fool. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no
but
kidding.
It really is. Oh my God, Garrett, that is a great find. I just have to
Yes.
Yeah.
say, kudos
Absolutely.
to you. That's phenomenal.
That's a good one.
And I'm sure he heard the tornado sirens, and his first instinct was, "I'm going to go outside and video."
Right.
And it's
Right.
just guys. If we hear the sirens, that's not a call. That's not like the bat signal. Everyone come outside and look. It's like get to
Yeah.
shelter. Come on.
Yeah, because
Where you
he is lucky to be alive. Honest to
Yeah,
goodness.
totally lucky to be alive.
So there
Yeah,
you go.
and I would say MJ that would go up in the Weather
Weather-
Fools
Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I was almost hoping there was a reflection of him somewhere, like holding his bear.
yeah.
I was hoping he'd pan
That's
around
great.
and I'd see his reflection, but I didn't.
And that was the Little Rock tornado. That had to be early on in its life cycle, because if that was like EF3+, I mean, he would have been dead, because
Oh, yeah,
his house wouldn't have withstood that. So that's pretty crazy. So
Yeah, that was wild.
Well, I did have a weather fool, but this has never happened in the history of weather fools. There have been 2 duplicates, because I had the same
Wow.
video.
Oh, did you really?
Wow. So
So-
after making fun of me for 5
Yeah, I know.
minutes.
I know. I ate
Then you
crow
know
there.
it's good. But hey, you know it's good then.
Yeah.
That's
So
right.
that's never happened on Stormfront Freaks in 181 episodes. So for those that are listening, this is
Two
the
doubles.
first time that 2 duplicates have
2
occurred.
duplicates.
Yep, so it's
Wow.
pretty wild. Well, we're gonna have all those videos as well as the duplicate videos. We're gonna have that up on stormfrontfreaks.com. Look for show 181. I was getting ahead of myself.
Woo. All right.
I love it.
kind of like this song, even though I have to introduce funny weather memes. I just kind of want to jam out for a second. But this is another fun part of the show. The funny weather memes, it's the cute little weather memes we see on Facebook and Twitter and things. And I know we have a couple of them. I think, Jen, you have one, right?
I do have one. And this one, so I love, what is this, Office Space? I believe that this is
yeah, definitely
from there. And I feel like this is perfect for what's going on this week, because we've seen insane roller coaster rides and temperatures, like literally 35 to 40 degree dips within 24 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, I forget the boss man's name here from Office Space, but he's like, yeah, if we could not have all 4 seasons of weather in 1 week, that'd be great.
That'd be great.
That was my attempt.
Yeah, that's perfect.
That was a really bad impersonation, but you get what I'm saying. So I just feel like that was totally good.
Everything from Office Space is funny, though.
This is true. This is very true.
Hey, Greg, you have one, you said, right?
Yeah. Do you have that up, MJ, as mine?
It's there.
Mine?
Well, I can see a bunch of them.
Okay, yeah. That, yeah. Okay, you can see the North Carolina weekend one. So, mine is called North Carolina Weekend. Now, again, Jen, almost the same sort of idea with yours. Is we can probably put this up for pretty much anywhere around North America the last few weeks, right? But we got a Friday. It's clearly flooding. The trampoline is completely underwater. Saturday, it's covered in snow, and Sunday the grass is green, and it's kind of felt like that. We got this warm weather followed by the snowstorm, and I guess that's what happens when you get the low pressure systems rolling through this time of year. So that's mine.
All
Love
right,
it. That's awesome.
Brady, you've got one, right? Is it a duplicate?
No duplicate today. So I got one. And it's kind of staying on trend here. It's Weather Cat, right? It's nice little black cat with a nice little tie. He's saying back to you, Tom. What gets cuter than a nice little black cat, doing the weather? So
back to you, Tom. And that's how you. Okay, I've got one here too. Forecast for the weekend: 1 inch to 2 feet of snow.
That's right. That's right.
When you can't figure out how much you want, And okay, and then this one is my all-time favorite of all time because I've worked in TV. When you're stuck in the snow and bosses be like, "You still coming to work, right?"
Yep.
And your car is buried in snow. Just because I think anybody who's been in a meteorologist, you have to actually be at work because you're doing the weather. So
what's your excuse if you're a meteorologist, right?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll post those on our show notes for episode 181 and stormfrontfreaks.com.
Send me a postcard. Drop
MJ.
You've got mail, baby.
That's right. You got mail. And we do. We got Luna Light checking in again. So welcome back.
Luna Light.
I like that name.
Yeah, I do too. I recommend you listen to the episode 175 of Stormfront Freaks about search and rescue and providing help in disaster situations. They also said when hell breaks loose, a trash bag with holes for head and arms can be improv raincoats.
I think we all did that as a kid, didn't we?
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I still do that at baseball games.
I was just going to say, at every baseball game, you see the trash bag patrol. Yeah,
absolutely. The weather store, the WX store, checked in on Twitter and says, in the director's interview on Stormfront Freaks, he said Alec Baldwin studied 2 Tims. The great Tim Samaras, of course. Yeah. And do you remember who the other Tim was? The one and only Reed Timmer.
Oh, Reed.
That was the 2 Tims. Yeah, that's the 2 Tims he talked about.
Well played. Well played.
Yep.
That got us for a second.
and Clarence Smith checked in with us and actually had done a review of Supercell and said Supercell was a fun ride with some Easter eggs for storm chasers. The chasing consultants did their job and were obviously listened to. Good attention to detail. No complaints on the chaser weather side of things. And then followed that up by saying, now having listened to the Stormfront Freaks podcast number 179, with the director of Supercell. I feel my short review is pretty solid. Storm chasing and filmmaking are two of my favorite things after all. So thanks for checking in.
Very cool.
nice.
Very cool.
It's awesome.
I love that.
And that's the Freak Fan Box for today.
Right on. Well, thanks,
So-
MJ. Listen, gang, no Phil, and
But we did it.
we
did
made
it.
through.
We
Yeah.
did it.
Wow.
Woo!
Yeah.
Bravo. Good work, Greg and MJ.
In fact, I
Yeah.
think we can all agree. Let's do it again sometime.
Yeah.
Without Phil, like maybe
Absolutely.
182 or 180. Anyway, listen, guys, that just about does it for this episode of the Stormfront Freaks podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in.
And before we announce the guest of our next episode, if you like the show, don't forget to follow us on your podcast player so you get notified and receive the latest episodes of our show delivered right to your library the moment they get released. And if you enjoyed the show we put together, send a friend your favorite episode.
And that's right. You can subscribe to our YouTube page and watch some of our previous versions of Stormfront Freaks Raw, which are completely unedited. Hear all the great conversations during breaks, great questions from our Patreon VIPs, and who knows what else gets censored out of our audio podcast. Just search
It's really
Stormfront
nuts.
Freaks on YouTube or find the link on our website, stormfrontfreaks.com.
And guys, we also want you to be on our Patron team, or Patreon, as Phil likes to say. And guys, really, I mean, you can find there's any number of different levels of support, all the way down to as low as $1 per month. You can give more than that. We'd be happy to take more, but you can do as low as $1 per month. I mean, you guys, you can get a coffee for more than that. So that's nothing. Visit stormfrontfreaks.com to find the Patreon links. You can join our Raw broadcast. You can join actually with us live on the show. You can see as we record them. You can have access to exclusive merch or get on the waiting list to become one of our limited VIPs and actually be with us in the green room, watching the show, asking questions to our guests every show.
I love that. And if you're going to be going storm chasing, you need gear and you need our gear. So don't forget to check out all the new Stormfront Freaks merchandise currently on sale for chase season. We have new hats, t-shirts as low as $16, sweatshirts, tanks, and more, all with our tornado logo. So you'll find it along with everything else at stormfrontfreaks.com.
So, freaks, tell us how we can follow you. For me, you can find me Tornado Greg on social media, and cameraeasy.ca is my teaching website. But Jen, what about you?
You can find me on Instagram, TikTok, Jennifer Weather, and Twitter at jwatson_WX.
Brady?
You guys can find me on Twitter at Brady Harris WX. I also, kind of entertain with TikTok, some other places. I like to go incognito there, so you can try and find me, but good luck.
MJ, where can we find you?
On Twitter at Mark Stormpod, MARC Stormpod.
Dina?
On Twitter, it's LadyPilot70. And Instagram is Dina OSU.
Right on.
Love it.
Very good. Special thanks to our guest tonight, Trey Greenwood.
Right on.
Studios, Storm Chaser Jordan Hall. Patreon members will be able to watch live on Thursday, April 27th. The audio podcast will be available to everyone else on the following Sunday.
And so, for Phil, for MJ, for Dina, for Brady, and for our guest Troy, I'm Greg, and I'm giving an all clear. We'll catch you next time on the Stormfront Freaks podcast.
Woo!
Nice.
Guys, we did it.
Nice.
All right. We did it.
Right on, guys.
Bravo,
We're clear.
guys.
Yeah.
Thank you, Trey.
Thanks
Yeah,
for having
Trey,
me.
you're
That was
so
fabulous.
Yeah, that was really nice, Trey.
I don't think
I had a
we
lot
didn't
of
have
fun.
any bleeps. We didn't have any bleeps, did we, MJ?
No.
There
Wow.
you go, making
Guys,
your life easier.
We
Love
need
it.
we need a show title though.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I had, oh crap, I could die.
That's
that might
Pretty
be
good one.
That's
That's a pretty
good.
good one.
I like that one.
Okay.
You're okay with that one,
That's
Trey?
That one's
Yeah.
not bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, his mom wants that one too.
Right.
Actually. she texted
Yeah.
me.
Oh man.
Mhm. Yeah, your mom must really love when you say crap like that.
She's very supportive, but man, she's she has a rough time sometimes.
Yeah,
But she
I'm
supports
sure.
it. She knows I love it, so she is okay with it. But I check in with her every so often, so it's good. She likes it when I'm with the tours because I'm with people.
You have to be a little
No.
calmer with a tour, I'm sure.
Right. Yes.
Trey, we didn't ask this question during the show for obvious reasons when you hear it, but like clearly you don't have a girlfriend. So
Jesus Christ.
Greg, what the hell? Greg,
no one that is that
Greg-
got
Greg
that
could
much nerdness stored in his head has a
Greg
girlfriend.
could be married. You don't know that.
Nope, you're
right.
exactly right. I'm not going to deny it.
We could just, you got to just say, like, I'm a player. I meet the girls out
There you go.
on the road.
There you go.
There you go.
There's nothing wrong
There
with
you
I'm
go.
just gonna say, if
I
you
don't
ever need
either.
a chase partner, I am a professional.
Angela,
Did I get
Oh my god, we could do what's our drunk forecast, MJ? We could do that with
yes, let's
Angela.
just record Angela.
that's
right
awesome.
We don't even have to edit it. We can just have her talk.
So
All
we do
right.
this bit, Trey, where we take actual people doing actual forecasts and we slow the audio down so it sounds like they're really
We're giving away our secrets.
yeah. Anyway, you should check it out.
It's really when we get them after like the 6 p.m. show and they've gone out and they've had drinks and
Right.
dinner, and then they come back to the 11
exactly.
p.m.
Right.
Mhm.
Mhm.
All right,
Let me
I'm
give
going
us
to end the
permission.
broadcast for those who are watching, just in
All
case
right.
we say something we shouldn't.